No comment. Jai, Hare Krishna. We're going to start the Mangala Charanam now. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militandena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varajana Sahikam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranama Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
It's too hot here.
Really? I was thinking it was chilly. So let's go to 15:15, our memorization verse for the week. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvarham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. 15:15. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarva ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness by all the Vedas. I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Chaitanya, yes, what can we do for you?
I have a question. Did you make all these tunes of the thing yourself, translation?
Yes, all myself, me, myself, and I. Now, there are a few of them that, there are like 2 or 3 of them out of maybe 45 that some students of mine made up, but most of them I made.
It's very beautiful.
All
Thank
right.
you for sharing.
It's fun, right? It definitely helps with learning. So we are on chapter 18. Woo! And we left off on text 11, I believe. Yes. So let's start on 18:11. Nahi deha brita shakyam tyaktum karmantya sheshataha yastu karma pala tyagi satyagitya vidiyate. Yeah, so we were talking about the difference between sannyas and tyag, right? Detachment and renunciation. And renunciation means what?
18 what?
18:11.
18:11.
Who remembers what Krishna's definition of sannyas or renunciation is?
Renunciation.
Yeah, what does it mean? What does it mean?
To reject something.
Okay, to reject, to give up the objects of sense gratification, right? Yeah, so you don't give up the thing, but you give up your desire to enjoy it for your personal sense gratification. You accept it in Krishna's service. So, and yeah, Krishna consistently says that that's the better one. And now he's going to say that very fact and explain a little bit why. So text 11, want to read, Kritika?
Yes. Well, we did read the Sanskrit already.
Yeah.
Okay. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. Purport. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruit of results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of International Society, many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or the factory or in some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced.
Mm. Yeah, so Krishna says that basically sannyas is not very practical because it's impossible for us to give up all activities, right? We can't give up everything. Like we have to be active. So yeah, there are these impersonalist yogis who will go to live in some cave in the Himalayas and stop eating and stop. They'll take a Mona Vrat, stop talking to people. They don't interact with anybody, and it's like you just can't live like that. It's not sustainable. So they usually don't last. So Krishna's not advising that. He's saying that's impossible. It's just not sustainable. It's not possible for to live a healthy life that way. And but he said the thing to do then is renounce the fruits of action. So go ahead and act, but then when when you're you can go to work, and when your paycheck comes in, you just hand that over to Krishna. you just use it all in his service. That's perfect, because you need to act that way. You can get out in the world, you can do things, you can use your skills, you can use your intelligence, you can engage with people, you can be appreciated, you can make a contribution to society, and at the same time you don't get entangled because you're doing it for Krishna.
So give the whole paycheck.
Well, I mean, obviously, like if you're Prabhupada's talking about, because he's talking about devotees who are like brahmacharis, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Jayananda Prabhu, who had jobs and they were basically working for the temple.
Whole paycheck.
Yeah, they would just get their paycheck and just like cash it and just hand every cent of it over to the temple for paying the temple's bills, because they were living in the temple, right? So that makes sense. But for people who are like married and have their own house or apartment outside, they obviously have to pay rent and pay the bills and feed themselves. So yeah, so then what's recommended is that for people like that, then you pay all your basic living expenses, and then after that you take 50% and then you give that to Krishna consciousness projects, and then keep the other 50% for emergencies or whatever, but save it for a rainy day. Okay, so text 12. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividam karmana phalam bhavatyaginam pritya natu sanyasinam kvachit. Then kvachit.
Both fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, and fruit after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Purport: a person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his acts after death.
Thank you. Yeah, Krishna's very poetic, right? Anishtam ishtam mishram cha. So it's got his alliteration going there. Yeah, so anishtam means leading to hell, ishtam means leading to heaven, and mishram means mixed. So these are basically three options for people who are working within the three modes of material nature and doing materialistic activities in this world. So if you do, immoral activities, then those are anishtam, they're leading to hell. If you do pious activities, then that's ishtam, it leads to heaven. And if you do a little bit of both, then mishram, you get mixed results. So yeah, bad activities, bad karma, good activities, good karma, mixed activities, mixed karma. Very simple, straightforward. But if you're actually detached from the results of work and working for a higher purpose, working for, you know, even if you're not working directly in the service of Krishna, but you're working and you're donating the results of your work to Krishna, or you're using them even, you know, in a detached way in the service of others, then you don't get any of those things. You're free from good karma, bad karma, and mixed karma. You're not getting any karma. And so Krishna says there's no result to suffer. Yeah. This trividam karmanapalam, these three different kinds of karma and the fruits of the karma are basically, they're not there. They don't exist for somebody who's actually renounced and detached from the results. So yeah, this is something that Krishna really promotes a lot in the Bhagavad Gita, is working with detachment. The major theme that comes up again and again. All right, text 13. Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarvakarmanam. Would you like to read, Chaitanya?
O mighty armed Arjun, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is it that the person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes for all activities, and for success in any activity, one should consider these 5 causes. Sankhya means stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge, accepted by all the leading acharyas. Even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in the Supersoul, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham ridisannivishta. He is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction, either in this life or in the life after death.
Okay, so now, yeah, Krishna, in the previous verse, he made a very serious statement here, right? That for someone who's not detached, they get no karma. And so some people might be like, what? What are you saying? How is that possible? That you can be active in this world and not get reactions for those actions. So now Krishna is going to be like, all right, well, if you don't accept me as an authority, then here's what it says in the Vedanta. So he's citing his sources right now. He's going to give some
He's citing himself.
he's going to give some scriptural references to back up his statement, right? Like a good preacher does. He's setting the example for all of us what to do. All right, so now he's saying, he's saying that according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes, because the argument the person might have is, oh, if somebody's acting in this world, that means they're causing things to be done. So anyone who causes an effect is responsible for that effect because they're the cause. And so Krishna's saying, actually, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. So now learn of these from me. So now he's going to say what those 5 things are. Okay, this is going to get interesting. Text 14. Adishtanam tata karta karanam cha pritagvidam vividascha pritak chesta daivam chaivacha panchamam. Aruna, are you able to read? Maybe not. How about Alia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. Purport. The word adishtanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as karta, the door. That's the soul is the knower, and there the door is stated in the Shruti. Esa hi drasta. Prasna Upanishad 4.9. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verse Nyota Eva 2.3.18 and Karta Shastra Tavat 2.3.33. The instruments of action are the senses, and by the senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action there is a different endeavor, but all one's activities depends on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart of as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul, situated within the heart, is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead.
Jai. Yeah, so we see here that there are different different things that need to be there in order to get anything done. So first of all, the performer, that's the performer is the soul, basically, the doer. So the soul within the body is acting to bring out the results of the activities and is the doer. But then if you don't have a body, then how are you going to do something? Right? Like if you're just a ghost or something, then you're very limited about how you can act within the world. So the soul is the person who's initiating the action by the desire. And then you need a body to be able to, carry out that desire. So that's the place of action. Everything's happening within the body, with the body. And then you may have a body, but your senses may not be enabled. So you need to have, the ability to use your senses and also, what's the word, sync your senses with your desire, right? Because sometimes the soul wants to do something and you have a body, but then the senses are just not cooperating, So it's like the senses have their own urges to do other things, and the soul ends up just getting frustrated and foiled and not being able to actually achieve what they were desiring to achieve. So then, and then also you may have a body and you may have senses, but if you don't make the endeavor, if you don't actually try, right? If you just like, yeah, I wish I could do this and I have a healthy body and I have strong senses, but I'm just sitting on the sofa doing nothing. So that's not going to work, like you're not going to get anything done. So you actually have to get up and make the effort. And then even if you have a strong desire to do something, you have a body, you have strong senses, you're trying your best to do it, but if it's not sanctioned by the Lord, the super soul, then it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So all of these things need to be lined up and in place and cooperating with each other in order for anything to get done. So that's why a lot of times like things don't get done in this world. Right? We all start the day with our to-do list. And we get to the end of the day and maybe we ticked off a few things, but there might be a few things still on the list that didn't get done. Why? Because either our desire to do them wasn't strong enough, or our body was too tired, or our senses were too interested in other things, or we didn't try hard enough, or Krishna had other plans for our day. Yeah.
It is a true story, but I heard like one time devotees needed some money and they started doing kirtan and money flew out of window. Is that a true story?
I think there's a couple stories like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So
The money was just blowing in the wind down the street. Yeah. That happened in San Francisco when they needed money to pay the rent or something, and they walked out the door and they're like, what are we gonna do? We need to figure out a way to get some money. And then there was just a breeze, and then these like 3 little $100 bills just started like dancing.
Actually.
Yeah, who told me the story was Malati, and she was there. She was the person that
Really?
like found it. Yeah, she and her husband Shamasunda. She said literally they were like standing on the end. They weren't just like blowing like that. They were like standing on the end, all three of them in a row, and just like bouncing in the wind like that, coming towards them. You know, that's what? Right? Yeah. Okay, so now Krishna's going to continue talking about these 5 things, and he's going to break it down further. So this is going to get a little technical as we go here. Text 15. Shariravan mano biryat karma prarabhate naraha nyayam va vipiritam va panchaite tasya hetavaha. Arjuna, would you like to read? Text 15.
I would, but I'm driving right now. Maybe in a
Oh,
couple.
sorry. Yeah, please don't. Back to you, Kritika.
Okay. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Purport. The words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is work done in terms of the prescribed directions in the scriptures, and wrong work is work done against the principles of the scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance.
Okay. Yeah, so if you're doing some, nice, noble, pious, religious activity, it depends on these 5 things. And if you're doing some, wrong, evil, sinful activity, it also depends on these 5 things. So it's not that only religious things depend on this, and other than that, you can do whatever you damn please. No, anything that you're going to do depends on these 5 things. Okay, yeah, so even people who don't believe in God, still they can't do anything without God's sanction, whether they like it or not. Text 16. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashyatya krita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmatihi. Daniel?
There, so the only doer not consider, you cannot see things as they are. A foolish person cannot understand that the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions, although the material causes of plays the worker, the endeavor, and the senses. The final cause is the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not see not only the 4 material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the supreme thinks himself to be a doer.
Yeah, so Krishna is very boom. He's telling it straight as it is here that this is the facts, these 5 things, and if the super soul doesn't sanction it, you're not going to be able to do anything despite your desire and your qualification. And if you think you can, well, you're just not very intelligent. You're not seeing things as they are. I know. That's a hard one.
I think this is the thing, like most of the people don't get it. Like outside, if you're
Yeah.
talking, they don't understand it. They're like, if you're gonna work hard, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not just that one factor.
Yeah. Yes.
So every Monday, we're going to go into his.
Uh-huh.
So he left his. He very often mentioned like Alan powered by Krishna, like Krishna sanctioned Joseph Stalin,
Mhm.
Krishna sanctioned other people who were like really bad.
Mhm.
And he's like, why did he do such a thing? Well, because the man did. I can't recall it. So is it like fair to say like Krishna is sanctioning these kinds of people? Because apparently even irreligious activities are happening without the sanction of God. So he is sanctioning, people starving other people, doing all
Yeah.
these horrible things.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's what Krishna's saying here is that nothing happens without the sanction. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is that the laws of karma are at play, so we don't know what people did in their last life or the life before that or the life before that. And we just see this one snapshot in time and think, that's not fair. Right? Like, if you walk into a house and then you see a mother and she's like, yelling at her child and putting him to stand in the corner, then you're gonna think, and the other child, she's hugging and, cuddling and comforting. Then you think, oh, this is not a good mother. She's treating the children differently. She's abusing that one and she's favoring that one. But you don't know what just happened. Maybe the one that got put in the corner was just, trying to throw the little brother into the dryer and push the button or something. So you just don't know what happened previously that you didn't see. So it happens. Kids have died that way. Yeah. I mean, it could have been anything, I mean, you can just use your imagination and think what a horrible thing some little kid to do to his little brother, and deserves to be punished for it, and the other one needs to be comforted because he just nearly died.
Put their fingers into the electric.
So right. So yeah. No, go ahead. I think the point was clear.
So, is there value in making distinction God directly sanctioning something and God indirectly sanctioning something? Because, for example, like we say, oh, Krishna was guiding every movement of Shiva.
Hmm.
Could we also say, oh, Krishna was guiding every movement of Joseph Stalin? Or more so, his material energy was sanctioning everything?
Yeah. So that's a good point because, there's different systems at play and how Krishna's governing the universe, basically. And so for devotees, Krishna becomes personally involved, right? So devotees, because they're taking shelter of Krishna, they're praying to Krishna, they're literally asking Krishna, please guide me in my life, please, push me in the right direction, be my co. Please let what's pleasing to you, let your will be done, and like that. But then Krishna does, he responds and he's like, okay, this is what we're doing then. And then he'll push us here and prod us there and provide guidance through other people too, to make sure we're on the right track and we're making spiritual advancement. We're not doing anything that's going to be problematic for ourselves or others. And all good. But then people who, basically deny the existence of God and are just like, they have their own, ideas about what's right and wrong and what they're going to do and what they're not going to do, then it's basically just the material energy. It's the laws of nature, as Prabhupada would say, or the laws of karma, or the Paramatma in the heart. Because Krishna is not neutral. Krishna, he works to help everybody make spiritual progress. And especially he becomes favorable to his devotees. Whereas the Paramatma feature of the Lord, which is just a very small partial expansion of the Lord in the heart of everybody, is neutral. And so Paramatma is he's sitting in the heart, he's sitting right next to the soul. So when soul has a desire, as contaminated it may be due to the conditioning that's there covering the soul, and Paramatma sees that and he's like, oh, that's what you want? All right, then. So then if it's our karma, if we have the karma to qualify to be able to do that thing, then Super Soul just arranges it. He just, puts everything in place for it to happen. Like even if, someone was saying that, let's say somebody wants to kill their next door neighbor or something. So, if they're really intent on doing it, and let's say, then there'll be a situation where, there's some situation at the neighbor's house that gets the attention of the person, and then they go over there to see, and then they see that, oh, there was something happened, the door's left open, they stick their head in the door, and they see that the person that they want to kill is sitting there in the reclining chair with listening to music with headphones on, and the music is super loud. And then they walk into the house and they see right there on the door side table where they keep the keys, there's a knife, and and everything is just all there.
Sounds like you.
I'm just visualizing a scenario. I have a very active visualization capacity. So anyways, so the super soul just makes the arrangement. Oh, you wanted to kill this, but just everything's in place. There you go. It just serves you out your desire on a silver platter. Doesn't mean that it's the right thing, right? But it says we were Paramatma will engage the soul and a pious person in religious activities so that they may go to heaven, and the super soul will engage wicked person in sinful activities so that they can go to hell. But the super soul is neutral. It's just the functions of the super soul are overseeing and permitting. So he's overseeing everything, seeing what's going on, sussing out the situation, seeing what we want, and then permitting. Like that. And then the consequences, well, that's on us.
Super soul. Super soul permit something that is long for one soul. What if it's not like agreeable to the karma of the other soul being interacted with?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, that the super soul knows all these things. Because the super soul, like, he's been with every single soul in their heart for every single lifetime they've had in the material world. So they know every thought, every deed, everything they've done. And so he matches people up. So that guy that's sitting in the reclining chair, he's also not innocent. He must have killed someone in a past life in a similar way. And so he's got it coming to him. And so the super soul's like, all right, yep, this is all going to start happening. And super soul's known all along, and it's for that person moved into the house next door. Right? Because he knows this person is like a psychopath, and that person needs to get murdered because he was a psychopath in his last life. And yeah, the whole thing is all like a setup. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you zoom out, no one is innocent, no one is guilty, because it's just karma. Like that person was the murderer in past life, so why should we be upset? The murderer was punished in this life. So the king, he actually kills the criminal for the criminal's benefit.
Yeah.
The criminal doesn't have to receive that karmic cycle in the next life.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of a punishment, because there's no judgment when it comes to the modes of material nature.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, this is an action of modes, this is, a reaction of someone's past deeds, a reaction of your past deeds.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually good because if it's done by, the criminal justice system, then it's not that the head of the government or the judge or whatever has anything against the murderer personally. It's not that they want to kill the person. They're just following the law. So then the judge is not getting karma for having that person killed. And what's happening is he's freeing that person of their future karma. Because if you had like a random like thug murderer, because she could arrange that, oh, the person killed someone, so they get some guy on the street to just turn around and kill him, then he gets the karma, he has to get killed. So where does it end? So the way it ends is that, this is one of the ways that it can end, is that he gets sentenced to death. It's actually good because then he doesn't have to get murdered in the next life, and the person who sentenced him also doesn't have to get murdered because it was done according to, justice. Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, so if we all have like the same paramata, because it's Krishna.
There's only one, yeah.
Right.
He splits himself up.
Then why do individual characteristics? Because the Bhagavad Gita does talk about our individuality and needing to dive in like the ocean, and it being very important to like offer our individuality to Krishna.
Yeah.
Therefore, my question is that for example, phrasing it. I don't know if you see what I mean.
I think I get what you're saying. So yeah, because the super soul is a separate person. Super soul is like, the Lord, and we individual souls are a separate person. Right? So I'm an individual, you're an individual, but super soul is in my heart, and that same super soul is in your heart. So he knows everything that I'm thinking and feeling and doing, and he also knows everything you're thinking, feeling, and doing. But I don't know what you're thinking, and you don't know what I'm thinking, unless I tell you. But the super soul knows what both of us are thinking right now. And the super soul in your heart knows what I'm thinking. The super soul in my heart knows what you're thinking.
Does the super like
Sometimes. Sometimes, yeah. Like pure devotees can know these things. Like very pure devotees. Like devotees would say, like when Srila Prabhupada would look at them, they would feel like, like he could see everything, like, lifetimes of their previous lifetimes and everything that they're thinking and feeling. And sometimes Prabhupada would say things like the devotee would have a question and Prabhupada would just answer the question before they even asked it, that kind of thing. So it may not be that Srila Prabhupada is consciously reading the person's mind, but more often what happens is that the super soul within Prabhupada's heart, for example, or the speaker's heart, because it's not just Prabhupada, it happens a lot of times. Like sometimes even I'll be giving a class and somebody come up afterwards and be like, oh my God, how did you know what I was going through? I was like, I didn't. I have no idea what you're going through. Like, but you addressed it directly and you like said exactly what I needed to hear. And I was like, it was Paramatma. Because Paramatma knows what you're going through, and I happen to be the one talking, so he used me as an instrument to say what what he wanted to tell you, like that. But sometimes that happens. Yeah.
So in that case, I was thinking like if you are like punished, or for example, like if you're getting like some bad reactions of, I don't know, it can come from anywhere. Like
Mhm.
you never know what all things you have done in your past lives.
Yeah.
So if you're suffering currently, so that means like it's actually a win-win situation, right? Like you're suffering, so actually you are like cutting a lot of your karma by that
Yeah.
suffering, actually, right?
Yeah.
So that means like it's not a bad thing.
No, suffering's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
That means you're burning off your bad karma.
It just means you're burning off your bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point of breaking?
By suffering it.
Yeah, but
No, but suffering.
by suffering, you're burning.
Well, because the good thing about suffering, the good thing about suffering is that it teaches us lessons, right? It teaches us that this material world is not the place of enjoyment, and that, we don't get pleasure from, all the ways that we suffered. It's good to be frustrated in material life.
Yeah, because we don't like suffering. Like when we suffer, we don't like it.
Yeah.
But when we think it like, okay, it is like some of the things that I have done in the past and it's like getting all cleared up, then it gives you like a way to deal with it. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like that.
So there's different ways that you can get purified, basically, that you can diminish your karma and become purified. So one way is suffering. Step on a thorn, they'll always be like, that's some purification. So that's one way of getting purification. But another way of getting purification is by practicing the processes of bhakti, right? The joyful processes of chanting and hearing and, kirtan and service and feasting. So yeah, it's basically like, so the more we purify ourselves by actually engaging in the processes of purification of bhakti that are, very strongly purifying, then the less we actually have to suffer.
But I have a question.
Because somehow or other, Krishna has to arrange for our purification, because that's why we're here. That's the whole mission of this sojourn in the material existence, is to get purified so we can eventually go back to Godhead. So if a person is like, I am not going to serve God, I am not going to like chant Hare Krishna or pray or do anything, then okay, suffer. The only other option, right? Somehow you need to get purified. Somehow you need to give up your material attachments.
So, I heard from many people that cannot clear everything. Like there are like for example, if something is in your body,
Mhm.
like when your body was forming or it was already formed. So if it was already formed, so that karma is already formed. Like you cannot change it. Like somebody who's born with a genetic disease.
Yeah,
So like you can't change it because that karma it has already happened.
yeah,
But what you can change is like which is like in like the newborn stage, like which is still in the formation stage. You
Yeah.
can burn all that. But still, by the chanting is so strong that you still won't suffer the reactions, like what the reaction you're supposed to get out of that genetic disease.
Yeah.
You will not suffer that because this is so powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so there's different kinds of karma. There's prarabdha karma and aprarabdha
yes,
karma.
exactly.
So aprarabdha mean that's not manifest yet.
Yeah.
It's like still waiting there. It's just waiting to get you. That you haven't suffered it yet. So if you chant Hare Krishna very purely, surrender to Krishna, you can just get rid of all that stockpile of karma that's waiting to get you before it gets you.
Yeah.
So that's the intelligent thing to do. But then there's some karma that's already manifest that, it's in one sense, it's too late. For example, if you're born in, a body that's, disabled or ugly or, disease prone or, or you're born in a bad family, to a mother who doesn't care about you or a father who kicks you around or something, like that's already done. In one sense, the damage is done, right? But the good thing about that is that even despite that,
Yeah.
when we do the processes of devotional service, those things which would cause us a whole lifetime of suffering, they no longer are problematic.
Yeah.
Right. So even if you have like serious, mental disability or something, it doesn't become it's not a problem for you. In fact, sometimes it becomes like a blessing.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't impede your spiritual advancement, and it also saves you from a lot of like entanglements that you might have gotten into. Because, if somebody's like super handsome and super cool and super, wealthy, then they have a super good scope of getting themselves into trouble. Right. So, yeah, but somebody who's kind of like not highly functional and in different ways, then they're just going to kind of tend to keep to themselves and be peaceful and not be disturbed by people who want to drag them into enjoyment in different sinful ways or whatever. Yeah.
I was thinking about how if the Gita is telling us that basically everyone deserves what they get,
Yeah.
then where does empathy come into play? Where does compassion come into play? How do we relate to each other when we're
Yeah.
suffering? And I have an idea of it because if I think about it, okay, say if I was like a therapist in the mode of ignorance and goodness in my past life, and so in this life I got abused by a therapist in the mode of ignorance and goodness, then that would make sense. But like, because then I would have empathy for other people like that. Like, oh, I get what you went through. I'm not going to do that again. And like, have more harm.
Yeah.
I guess continues to be, good and to be truly ignorant and helping people. So that I guess in a way it would be good for me because then I would stop doing that. I would realize how impactful it is to people and how much it causes suffering.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where the empathy would come in personally. But if you haven't personally experienced this, that your friend is going through something, and like, how do we make sure that we're, not judging each other and like really focusing on empathy?
Yeah.
Like, it's a very empathetic person.
Yeah, it's very important. So yeah, if somebody is suffering and we have this attitude that, all right, that's your karma, and we don't do anything to try to help them to mitigate their suffering, then basically we become we also we basically get karma for that, right? We get karma for our just having a cold, cruel attitude towards someone who's suffering. Yeah. So, but if you see someone suffering and you actually like want to help them, you feel compassion and you're like, let me help this person, let me give them prasadam, let me give them some sweet words and see how I can help, then that helps the person. It also helps us.
So in that way, it's helping me extra too, because if I experience something that I perpetuated in past life or life, then I have more empathy for somebody going through that, and therefore can extend empathy, and then I get
Yeah, so that's another,
or no.
yeah, that's another way that suffering is good, right? Because it makes us have more empathy for people who are suffering.
That's if you step on a bad person, like hi, you're purified. You're like, ooh,
Yeah, I've been there. I feel your pain. Yeah, and you'll be like, and when I did that, I got really infected and I had to go to the hospital and take antibiotics for 2 weeks. So please take care of it. Yeah, it's some antiseptic. I always carry some with me, right? Yes, just a,
Uh, the new thing that sinful activities we don't help stop other people.
well, the reason that Krishna brings people into our lives who are suffering is to give us the opportunity to help them. Right. So the very fact, yeah, that's what there's one purport where Prabhupada's talking about violence, and he defines violence as that, it's like if you have the cure, if someone has a disease and you have the cure for the disease and you don't give it to them, that's violence. Then you're guilty of violence.
If you know Hare Krishna and you don't distribute Hare Krishna, you are actually
Being violent.
we are being violent.
Yeah, because everybody's suffering. The root cause of all suffering is lack of Krishna consciousness. And we have the solution to solve all problems.
So if you don't preach, you are a violent person.
Then you become guilty of, violence against people. You're causing all their suffering because you can stop it and you're not. Now you know too much. Now you... Yeah.
Your emergency, no, your lack of planning does not constitute my emergency. Essentially saying like, yeah, your lack of planning, it doesn't become my emergency.
Yeah.
So do they get extended for that? Sometimes I want to just say,
Yeah.
Always like that, right? Like,
Well, I think it's kind of an indirect way of telling people, to be responsible, be proactive, to encourage people to be proactive and not just procrastinate until something becomes an urgent emergency, right? To get it together. But at the end of the day, if somebody's in an emergency and it's an actual emergency, then I think most people, as much as they can see that this potentially could have been avoided, they're not just going to let the person die or, suffer in some extreme way. They're going to be like, look, I'm going to help you now, but let's talk about how we can avoid these things becoming so urgent in the future. Right?
additional question.
Yeah.
So let's say like you have this person who just doesn't learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like they keep on touching the stove and burning themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, kind of gonna touch the stove and ow, can you help me? Ow, I'm burning. Ow, can you help me? And so are you gonna extend if you were like, dude, you're freaking out?
Well, then you have to be intelligent too, and just keep the kitchen door locked.
Well, is that right?
I mean, that's why there are prisons in the world, right? Because people are like, yeah, for some people, we need to keep the kitchen door locked because they're going to keep hurting themselves and hurting other people.
so basically, to all the extent, you have to try to help them.
Yeah, try to help them, try to teach them. But some people, they can't be taught. They just have really, whatever, they're just too much in the mode of ignorance, right? We were seeing about the qualities of the modes of ignorance, that they don't know what to do and what not to do. And everything that they do ends up being destructive to themselves and others.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we have to really give them prasadam, give them the holy name, so that they can get gradually purified of their ignorance. And yeah.
With Prabhupada, there was one person who wanted to kill him, right? And then he
Yeah.
had to leave that place.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very bad ignorance. Yeah.
So, but how do we know we're truly helping someone? How do we know we're not causing harm? Like, how do we know we're helping them one the way they do, And two, we're not helping them driven by our own ego and desire to be seen as good people.
Mm.
How do you know?
Yeah. Well, we have to be introspective and be like, okay, Prabhupada Priya, it's nice that you want to help this person, but really, what is your motivation? Do you have some like hidden agenda here or something? What is your interest with this person, particularly out of all the people that are suffering? Or, what are you trying, is there something you're trying to achieve for yourself in this endeavor? Or, or do you generally just want to help this person? And then think about it. Are you actually helping this person? To what extent is what you're doing right now actually helping the person? And then, and sometimes we need to actually like connect with the person and find out what they need. I mean, of course, you can't go wrong with, prasadam and kirtan and, a little bit of transcendental knowledge to whatever extent the person can accept it. And, if we try with a pure heart to help the person spiritually, then Krishna is also going to protect us and purify us too in the process. So, yeah.
Like Krishna wants us to act the way he actually acts, because this said so many times, like we are in so many ways similar to Krishna.
Hmm.
So like we have to act in a way like how Krishna would behave in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, we may not know, but we can also pray. We can be like, Krishna, this person has come to me. I can see that they're suffering and they need help. And I feel like maybe the reason that this person is in my association is because you want me to help them in some way. So please guide me because, I'm a little ignorant myself and I'm not sure what is the right thing. Like, what is the best thing for this person? Because I don't want to just, like enable their problem to continue. Because sometimes we can think we're helping when we're actually just enabling something destructive. So yeah, okay. Prayer is always good. Drista?
I would say the non-goes by instead is the devotional service which disregard the scriptures doesn't harm them.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're trying to do the right thing. And if we ignore scripture,
Mhm.
we'll end up causing disturbance, we'll end up embarrassing Krishna, will end up hurting more people.
Yeah.
We're just imagining what's the right thing. We're just speculating. We're just, So devotional service when it, according to scripture, that's kind of like our safety line.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like what Kritik said was also very helpful because, it helped them in a way that Krishna would like them to be helped. And I think we can learn a lot from Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada was, I'm just integrating your point with just this point. Srila Prabhupada was very much like in knowledge of the scriptures and guided by the scriptures. And Prabhupada helped a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So I think we can, if we study like Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, look at the ways that Srila Prabhupada interacted with different kinds of people. And he was always thinking, and he was somebody who was not selfishly motivated at all. He wasn't trying to get anything from anyone. He was just trying to really genuinely help every soul that came to him. So I think if we study like the way that Prabhupada interacted with different people, we can get some clue as to, how Krishna wants us to act with different people. Yeah.
Question.
Mhm.
Why do we consider our actions at all if nothing can happen without Krishna's sanction, that either through material or personal energy ultimately helps us advance? Spiritually.
I understood the first part, not the second part.
Why do we consider actions if nothing can happen without Krishna's sanction, that either through his material or personal energy, like if you're a devotee or if it's through karma,
Okay. Yeah.
is ultimately something that
That's beneficial. Okay. So why do anything if Krishna's anyways sanctioning it, and if everything that's happening by Krishna's sanction is somehow or other bringing us closer? Right. Yeah. I mean, in the ultimate issue from a transcendental perspective, it's all good, because Krishna's all good. But what we can do is we can sometimes expedite, we can help make the good better. Right. So if according to their karma, somebody needs to suffer a lot before they can actually, um, Krishna says everyone follows his path in all respects. So everybody is basically on the path back to Godhead, but just that, like, let's say Krishna's there and we're here. So some people's path is like that, straight to Krishna, and some people's path is like that. And then some people's path is actually like that. You know, they have to go back first and loop around, and right, they have to kind of like get worse, worse, and suffer more and more and more, hit rock bottom, and then turn around and come all the way back. So, yeah, so all those things that are leading to that person hitting rock bottom, they're leading them to Krishna, but they have to go reverse first, right? So what we can do is we can intervene and be like, hey, my friend, you know, like, you're going downhill fast, and what you really need to do is be going uphill. So if we can turn them around and get them to go like that instead of go way back here and then like that, we can save them a lot of time, maybe lifetimes, right, of suffering. So yeah, so that's why we should act. Yes. Mhm.
So this seems to contradict with the statement that it's and that we've been in this material world perpetually for millions of bazillions of lifetimes,
Mhm.
seemingly degrading ourselves further,
Yeah.
degrading ourselves further, and that we're not almost cyclical, not so much like a path, like going kind of this hardship and not going up,
Mhm.
but we've been at ground zero for like
Spinning our wheels. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a path, but we're just stuck in the mud, right? It's like you're on the road, but your car got a flat tire. Or you're just stuck in the mud spinning your wheels, or you got in a loop. It's like sometimes, you know, sometimes you're driving, like when we went to try to go to White Rock Lake. And we just ended up going around the same loop like 4 times before we're just like, actually, we should go that place where it says do not enter. And that was actually the way in. So yeah, sometimes in life we're like that. We end up on a, like we take the wrong way, and then we end up looping around a few times before we start heading in the right direction. So yeah, that happens, right? We get deviated, we go off the path, we have a breakdown, we get stalled. So yeah, when that happens, we need a mechanic, or we need a good GPS, we need a guru.
sucks.
Yeah. GPS. Okay. All right. Good discussion, folks. That was interesting. Okay. It always gets interesting when Daniel comes. Mhm. Okay, Jai, thank you all for being here. I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. Same Kalachanji place. Oh my goodness, I got a lot of people here. Hold on. Let's see what they're all saying. Man, if Krishna don't give me my love, then I'm never going to ask anything for me, because they already sneeze everything from me. I'm not sure what that means. And then someone else is saying, oh, Vanchikalpatubhischa, Kripasindevascha. And someone's saying, doing bhakti in order to get something in return is not bhakti. No one is bound to give you anything, certainly not God. It's for one's betterment, it's the realization. And then someone's asking, what's the difference between kriya and karma? Kriya. To my understanding, let's see picture. Kriya means doing something, right? It means activity. I think they're very similar. I think they're almost synonyms, and I have to admit that I think if there's a distinction between the two beyond that, I don't know what it is. Yeah. For example, like bhajana kriya means doing bhajan, right? It literally means doing something. Yeah, I think they're almost interchangeable. If they're not, then it's beyond my knowledge. That's all. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Prince Malvia and Marlon Rodriguez and Benu Ram and Mayank Kadke and Anand. Jai, hope to see you again sometime soon.